The outpost floated in the thin haze of the planet's orbit like a small, fragile lantern in the dark. It was a remote research station, one of humanity's quiet footholds at the edge of explored space. Lieutenant Arik Hale sat in the control room, his eyes scanning the holographic displays. Outside, the fog stretched endlessly, a swirling mixture of ionized particles and gases that made the instruments behave strangely. Sensors flickered, sending warning lights in random pulses, and yet through the chaos, there was always the steady hum of the outpost's engines. Arik rubbed his jaw and glanced toward Dr. Celine Amur, the station's chief astrobiologist. She was hunched over her console, eyes wide with fascination as she watched readings spike and fall in patterns that made no sense. "It's beautiful," she murmured, almost to herself. "The fog, it's alive in a way. It moves, it reacts. It's like it's thinking." Arik raised an eyebrow. "Thinking? Celine, it's just gas and charged particles. That's all. Nothing alive here." He tried to sound confident, but the tiny unease in his stomach betrayed him. There was something strange in the fog. He had spent enough nights staring out at uncharted planets to know that not all oddities were harmless. Suddenly, the radar pinged, loud and insistent. Red lights flashed on the console. Arik leaned forward, squinting at the screen. Something massive was moving inside the fog. The object was enormous, easily 100 meters long, though its shape was hard to discern through the swirling gray. It moved slowly, deliberately, almost like it was aware it was being watched. Celine's voice trembled with excitement. "It's not natural. Look at the energy readings. Something is powering itself, moving through the fog without propulsion like ours. And there are lights." She pointed at the faint blips on the radar. "Lights that shouldn't be on." Arik felt a chill run down his spine. Alien vessels were rare, and those ancient enough to survive in deep space were even rarer. But lights? That suggested some kind of life, intelligence, or something left behind by intelligence. Either way, it was dangerous. The communications officer, Ensign Cora, spoke up from her station. "Lieutenant, sensors show no heat signature, no detectable life forms. It's like the ship is empty. But the lights are definitely active." Arik leaned back in his chair. His mind raced. "Empty or not, it's big, it's ancient, and it's moving on its own. I want a full scan, all frequencies. Record everything. Celine, you're with me. We're going out there." Celine blinked, her excitement mingled with fear. "You're serious? You know what could be waiting out there. This could be dangerous." "I know," Arik interrupted gently, "and that's why we're suited up and ready. I'd rather we go first and understand it than wait for someone else to stumble in." The crew nodded, tension thickening in the room. Everyone felt it, the thrill of discovery mixed with the sharp edge of fear. Few humans had seen objects older than the Federation archives, and even fewer had been close enough to study them. This could be the find of a lifetime, or the beginning of a nightmare. Arik and Celine suited up in the airlock, the hiss of pressurized seals filling the silence. The small shuttle waited outside, its hull glinting faintly in the dim fog. The craft's engines roared softly as it detached from the outpost, sliding into the mist with controlled precision. Outside, the fog seemed to swallow the shuttle almost instantly, leaving only faint lights behind as markers in the haze. Celine pressed her hands to the viewport. "It's bigger than I imagined. I thought it might be a derelict, abandoned vessel, but the lights, it's as if it's alive." Arik didn't answer. He was focused, scanning the displays for signs of life, for anomalies in the energy readings. Every instinct told him to be cautious. Yet the curiosity gnawed at him, strong and irresistible. As they drew closer, the shape of the vessel became clearer. Massive, with a hull scarred by time, it hovered silently, seemingly unaffected by gravity or atmospheric turbulence. The lights blinked rhythmically along its edges, a pattern both mesmerizing and unsettling. Its design was alien, unlike anything documented in human archives. Smooth, sweeping curves intersected with jagged edges, suggesting a purpose long forgotten. The shuttle's autopilot kept them steady, but Arik could feel the tension in his fingers gripping the console. "We're close enough for visual confirmation. Prepare for boarding. We need to know if this is really empty or if it's waiting for someone." Selene's hands hovered over her scanner, trembling slightly. "I've never seen readings like this. There's no decay, no energy loss. It's as if it's maintaining itself, even after centuries." The shuttle edged toward a docking bay that Arik could barely see through the fog. The lights from the vessel reflected off the mist, creating ghostly patterns on the hull. When they finally aligned with the docking port, a soft, almost imperceptible hum reverberated through the shuttle. It wasn't mechanical. It was something else, something organic in tone. Arik's eyes narrowed. "That's not the shuttle's engine. Selene, do you hear that?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, it's responding to us, almost like it knows we're here." The docking clamps engaged with a gentle click. The shuttle's engines powered down, leaving an eerie silence. The fog outside made it impossible to see more than a few meters, yet the lights on the vessel seemed to stretch infinitely, a line of glowing nodes that pulsed softly in the mist. Arik led the way into the docking tunnel, his boots echoing on the metal floor. Selene followed closely, scanning every surface with her portable device. The interior was dark at first, the walls smooth and cool. But as they advanced, soft lights along the corridors flickered on, revealing alien glyphs etched into the surfaces. They glowed faintly in a color Arik couldn't name, illuminating symbols that seemed both artistic and functional. "This is incredible," Selene whispered. "These symbols, they're not just decoration. They're like a record, a message." Arik didn't answer. He was alert, every muscle ready. Something about the symmetry of the halls and the silent rhythm of the lights felt deliberate. It was as if the ship itself was guiding them forward. Suddenly, Selene stopped. "Lieutenant, over here. There's a chamber, or a control hub. Look at this." They entered a large room, circular and vast, with consoles embedded in the floor and walls. Holographic star maps floated above the central platform, showing galaxies and star systems, some familiar, some uncharted. The images shifted, highlighting certain points that seemed ancient, marked with precise coordinates and dates that predated any human record. Arik approached, awe mixing with concern. "This ship, it's not just a vessel. It's a record, a library. Maybe even a traveler, preserving knowledge across the centuries." Selene's fingers danced over the holograms. "It's as if it's waiting for someone to read it, to understand it. Maybe that's why it lit the lights, why it responded to us." A soft hum rose from the center console, the lights along the walls brightening. Arik felt the vibrations through his boots, subtle but undeniable. "It's active," he said slowly. "Not just preserved. Active, but empty. There's no life. Not as we know it." They stepped further into the room, scanning everything carefully. Then Selene froze. "Lieutenant, look at this." In the center of the chamber, a stasis pod sat perfectly intact. Within it was an alien figure, humanoid, but unlike any species Arik had seen. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, and its elongated limbs seemed fragile, yet its presence filled the room with a sense of importance. The eyes were closed, but there was an unmistakable air of intelligence, a weight of knowledge that demanded respect. Arik swallowed hard. "It's sleeping. Or waiting." Selene nodded, awestruck. "Or maybe it's guarding something, or waiting for the right species to find it." The hum rose. and the lights along the walls pulsed in a rhythm that matched the faint, irregular heartbeat of the figure. Auric felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. They had found something ancient, something alive, in a sense humanity had never encountered before, and it had chosen to reveal itself now, to them. Outside, the fog shifted as if sensing the change. Lights on the vessel blinked faster, and faint patterns danced across the hull. The anomaly that had drawn the outpost's attention now seemed to resonate with the presence of the humans. Auric and Selene exchanged a look. Neither needed words. They were part of something far larger than themselves, a discovery that could change humanity forever. Auric reached out to touch the console, the hum vibrating through his fingertips. "We need to be careful, Selene. This isn't just about exploration. Whatever this ship is, it's ancient, it's powerful, and it's aware." Selene nodded, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. "Then let's learn from it, carefully, step by step. But yes, we need to understand it, before anyone else does." The vessel, ancient and silent in the fog, seemed almost to respond to their resolve. Its lights flared gently, a soft welcome, or perhaps a warning. And somewhere deep within the stasis pod, the alien figure shifted ever so slightly, as if acknowledging their presence. The shuttle remained docked, but neither Auric nor Selene could bring themselves to move. They were caught in the quiet, tense magic of the moment. Two humans, standing before the unknown, staring at a ship that had sailed the stars for untold centuries and had only now decided to reveal itself. And in that fog-shrouded silence, one truth became clear. The universe was far bigger than humanity had imagined, and the ancient vessel had chosen them to be its first visitors in millennia. What came next could define the future of their species, or destroy their understanding of reality entirely. The lights blinked again, steady, deliberate, and somewhere deep in the fog, the ship whispered across the void, a signal faint but undeniable, calling across time and space. Auric and Selene exchanged a final glance. "We're not alone," he said softly. "No," she replied, "and we never will be the same." With that, they stepped closer to the stasis pod, the ancient vessel fully awake around them, ready to reveal its secrets. The chamber hummed softly, the pulsing lights along the walls casting an otherworldly glow on the metallic surfaces. Auric Hale stood beside the stasis pod, his eyes tracing the alien figure inside. It remained still. But the faint rhythm of its breathing, or whatever served as life for it, suggested awareness, even in slumber. Selene Muir moved closer, her portable scanner lighting up with faint readings she struggled to understand. "The energy levels are stable," she said. "It's not decaying. There's no sign of deterioration, which is impossible for something that has been out here for centuries, or millennia." She shook her head. "It's preserving itself, or being preserved." Auric nodded, glancing at the holographic star maps that floated above the console. Some of the marked points were worlds humans had never charted, civilizations that likely vanished before humanity even developed interstellar travel. The scope of what they had found made him feel both small and infinite at the same time. "Do you think it's conscious?" he asked quietly, not wanting to break the fragile silence of the room. Selene hesitated. "I don't know. But whatever it is, it's connected to this ship. The lights, the energy flows, it reacts to us. I think it's waiting for someone to understand it." Auric frowned. "Or testing us. We don't know what kind of intelligence we're dealing with. Caution first." They stepped further into the chamber, the hum growing slightly louder as if the vessel sensed their movements. Auric's hand hovered near the console controls. Every instinct screamed at him to be careful. This was an alien ship, old beyond measure, and they were intruding on its private space. Celine touched one of the consoles lightly. "Look at this." A projection shimmered above the panel, showing a star system with lines of energy connecting several planets. "It's mapping something. Trade routes? Travel paths? No, they're like lifelines, patterns of activity across galaxies. This ship recorded them all." Arik leaned in, studying the projection. The lines of light pulsed in rhythm with the vessel's hum, and he realized the ship was not simply displaying information. It was communicating in a way humans had never encountered. The pulsing lines felt deliberate, almost like it was explaining its purpose to them in symbols, energy, and light, rather than words. Celine's eyes widened. "It's sharing its knowledge with us. The ship is alive in its own way. It thinks, even if differently from us. And it wants us to understand." A sudden vibration ran through the floor. Arik's hand shot out instinctively to steady himself. "What now?" The stasis pod's lights flared, brighter than before. The alien figure inside twitched slightly, as if sensing their attention. Then, as though responding to an unseen command, a holographic projection emerged from the pod itself. It was faint at first, a shimmer of light that gradually formed into a humanoid shape. Celine gasped. "It's projecting itself." The figure's outline sharpened, revealing a form similar to what was in the pod, with elongated limbs and a head crowned with subtle ridges. Its eyes, closed a moment ago, now glowed faintly. Arik felt a strange pressure in his mind, not painful but insistent, as though the projection was trying to communicate without words. Then a thought entered his mind. Clear, deliberate, and unmistakable. "Who are you?" Arik froze. "Did you hear that?" Celine nodded, her voice a whisper. "I did. It's talking, not with words but with thoughts." "Directly." Arik forced himself to respond mentally. "We are explorers, humans, from the Sol system. We mean no harm." The projection's eyes glowed brighter, and a new thought appeared. "You have arrived. After cycles of waiting, few are ready. Are you?" Celine's hand trembled as she projected her own answer. "We want to understand. We are curious. We respect knowledge." A pause. Then, "Curiosity is the seed of survival. Respect is the key to learning. Follow." The lights along the walls shifted, forming a path leading deeper into the vessel. Arik exchanged a look with Celine. Both understood the unspoken command. They were to follow, to explore further. The ship was guiding them, perhaps judging them. They moved cautiously, the hum of the vessel resonating through their suits. The corridors opened into a larger chamber, one that seemed to stretch farther than physics should allow. The walls were alive with moving patterns, geometric shapes that shifted slowly, seemingly in response to their presence. Celine stepped closer to one section of the wall. "These patterns, they're like a language, or a record. Memories, maybe. Look, events, people, civilizations, all preserved here." Arik felt a lump in his throat. "It's a history. Entire civilizations, preserved by this ship, and somehow it wants us to see it." A low vibration echoed through the floor, and suddenly a sequence of lights flared along the walls, forming a holographic projection of a planet. Cities rose and fell in seconds, cultures advancing, thriving, and collapsing in rapid succession. Arik and Celine watched in awe as centuries passed in moments. Celine whispered, "It's showing us the past, the rise and fall of entire species, civilizations that were lost to time. It's a record of existence itself." Arik's mind reeled. The ship was not merely a vessel. It was a keeper of history, a guardian of knowledge, and they had been chosen to witness it. Suddenly, a sharper vibration shook the chamber, startling them. The lights along the walls flashed urgently. Arik instinctively reached for Celine. "Something's happening," he said, A new projection formed in the center of the room. This one was more detailed, showing a network of ships, vast fleets moving across stars, encountering unknown dangers. The projection highlighted moments of conflict and survival, of civilizations facing extinction and triumph. Celine's voice trembled. It's showing us lessons, not just history, but choices. Decisions that led to survival or annihilation. It's teaching us. Arik felt a deep sense of responsibility settle over him. Humanity was standing before a guide, an ancient being that had seen countless species rise and fall. What they did with this knowledge could determine their own fate. Then the vessel's hum changed. It grew louder, more insistent, like a heartbeat quickening. The projection shifted, showing a star system close to their own, a system that had once hosted intelligent life. The civilization there had vanished, leaving behind only ruins. Celine whispered, "It's showing us our future, or a possible future. A warning, perhaps. We could make the same mistakes." Arik nodded slowly. "We have to learn from this. Every detail, every civilization, every decision that led to survival or collapse. This is more than a discovery. It's a responsibility." The ship's lights dimmed briefly, then flared again, projecting a figure from the past. A humanoid creature, its features similar to the one in the stasis pod, interacting with the ship. The figure moved with purpose, touching consoles, directing the ship, preserving knowledge. Celine's eyes widened. It's the creator, or the last caretaker. They built this ship to endure time itself, to carry knowledge of their civilization when everything else was gone. Arik's stomach tightened. And now it has chosen us to continue that legacy, perhaps, or at least to understand it. The vessel hummed again, and the stasis pod's alien figure stirred. Its eyelids opened slowly, revealing eyes that glowed faintly but with intelligence that seemed to pierce through time. The thought entered Arik's mind. "You have come. Now you see. Are you ready to learn what must be preserved?" Celine felt the same question in her mind, and she projected her answer. "We are ready. We will listen. We will understand." A pause. Then begin. The lights along the walls shifted, revealing new chambers branching off the main corridor. Each chamber contained holographic displays, artifacts, and recordings. Some showed technology beyond human comprehension, devices that manipulated energy, matter, even time. Others recorded knowledge of biology, society, and philosophy. Arik and Celine moved through the chambers, absorbing as much as they could. Every step revealed new wonders, each one more incredible than the last. The ship was alive in ways that defied human understanding, yet it communicated through patterns, energy, and thought. Celine paused at one chamber where a holographic star map glowed brighter than the rest. This one, it's a map of all known civilizations, and some unknown. The lines connecting them, they're like relationships, trade, communication, alliances. Arik traced the lines with his hand, feeling a sense of awe. It's showing us the web of life across the stars, connections that span centuries. We are not alone, Celine. Humanity is part of something much larger than we realized. Suddenly, the vessel's hum deepened, resonating in their chests. A new projection appeared above the console, showing a fleet approaching a fog-covered planet, much like the one they had orbited. The ships moved with purpose, scanning, searching, but one among them paused, its lights flickering differently. Celine gasped. That's us. The ship is showing us our arrival, our approach to this vessel." Arik swallowed hard. "It's aware of us. Not just now, but in the past, when we first discovered it. It has been waiting for the right moment, for the right species." The realization settled heavily on both of them. Humanity had been chosen, not by chance, but by design. This vessel, this guardian of civilizations, had waited centuries to find beings capable of understanding its purpose. As they stood in the chamber, surrounded by knowledge older than the stars themselves, the weight of their discovery became clear. The ancient vessel was alive, aware, and patient. It had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, and now it had chosen humanity as its next pupil, its next steward. Arik looked at Selene, determination in his eyes. We need to record everything, every projection, every artifact, every pattern. We cannot let this knowledge be lost. Humanity must learn from this. Selene nodded, her voice firm. And we will, step by step, carefully. We'll honor what this vessel has preserved. The lights pulsed once more, almost approvingly. And in that moment, Arik and Selene understood the magnitude of their task. The vessel was more than a ship. It was a guide, a teacher, a keeper of the universe's memory. And they had been chosen to listen, to learn, and perhaps to carry that knowledge forward. Outside, the fog swirled, concealing the ancient vessel from the rest of the universe. But inside, Arik and Selene had discovered a beacon of wisdom, waiting for those willing to understand. And the first lesson had begun. The vessel's hum deepened as if it sensed the weight of what was to come. Arik Hale and Selene Mur moved cautiously through the glowing corridors, their steps echoing softly against the metal walls. Each chamber they entered offered new marvels, holographic archives of civilizations, technology that manipulated energy in ways humanity could only dream of, and star maps stretching across entire galaxies. Every discovery deepened the sense of awe, but also the pressure. They were not simply explorers. They were students of a teacher older than humanity itself. The stasis pod's alien figure stirred again, its movements deliberate, almost ceremonial. Its eyes opened fully this time, and a soft glow radiated from them, illuminating the chamber in a gentle, steady light. The thought entered Arik's mind as clearly as if someone had spoken aloud. You have seen the memory of worlds. You have learned from the past. Are you prepared to face the present? Selene shivered. We are ready, she projected, her mental voice firm despite the tremor of excitement and fear coursing through her body. We want to understand. We will listen. The alien figure regarded them silently, then slowly rose from the pod. Its movements were fluid, precise, and utterly alien, yet there was an undeniable elegance in the way it carried itself. Its gaze shifted between Arik and Selene, and then it moved toward the central console. As it did, holographic displays ignited across the room, illustrating star systems, energy flows, and civilizations in intricate detail. Arik stepped forward cautiously. It's alive. It thinks. It perceives. It responds. But can it communicate beyond thought? The answer came almost immediately, not in words, but in images and sensations. The figure's gestures sent waves of light across the chamber, each pulse a message. The universe is vast, life is fragile. Knowledge must be preserved, but it must also be protected. Danger approaches. Selene's eyes widened. Danger? From what? The figure's gaze shifted toward a star system not far from the fog-covered planet they orbited. Energy patterns indicated movement. Fleets of ships, human in design but unfamiliar in purpose. Their sensors and communication logs had not yet detected these ships, but the vessel's ancient systems had already noticed them. Arik's heart pounded. Rival factions, human, probably mining corporations or explorers looking for rare resources. They'll see this vessel as a prize. The alien figure extended a hand toward the projections, highlighting the approaching fleets with glowing symbols. Interference is coming. You must protect the knowledge. You must prove your species is worthy. Selene swallowed hard. We're just two humans. How can we possibly protect a ship like this? The figure's eyes glowed brighter, and a sensation of understanding washed over them. Knowledge is power, but power is useless without wisdom. You will learn both. The ship will guide you. Arik glanced at the corridor leading deeper into the vessel. Then we follow. Whatever comes next, we prepare. The alien led them to another chamber, this one vast and circular. Holographic displays lined the walls in concentric patterns, each one showing different aspects of the universe. Civilizations rising and falling, planets terraformed and abandoned, species thriving and perishing. The air hummed with energy, and Arik felt the pressure of eons pressing down on him. Selene moved closer to a display showing a series of interstellar maps. These are corridors, routes between stars. They're not just travel paths, they're strategic. The ship has tracked conflicts, alliances, and trade networks. It has predicted where danger will arise. Arik frowned. Then it knows about the fleets approaching, and it's warning us. A pulse of light shot across the chamber, forming an image of their own outpost orbiting the fog-covered planet. Small vessels, armed and fast, were moving toward it. Arik's stomach sank. They're coming here. Now! The alien figure's presence became more imposing. Its projection filled the chamber, eyes glowing with purpose. You must act. Protect the knowledge. Prove your species can wield it wisely, or it will be lost. Selene looked at Arik, determination burning in her eyes. We can't let them take it. Humanity doesn't deserve this knowledge if it falls into the wrong hands. Arik nodded, gripping her shoulder briefly. We protect it. Together. The alien figure extended a hand toward them, and suddenly the entire chamber shifted. Walls of energy rose, forming protective barriers that enveloped the room. The vessel itself seemed to respond to their intent, preparing for defense, without them needing to touch a single control. Selene marveled. It's helping us. It trusts us enough to defend its knowledge through us. Arik's mind raced. Then we need a plan. They'll come through the fog, and the station outside is vulnerable. If we can hold them off long enough, we can alert command. We can't let this vessel fall into the wrong hands. The alien figure projected schematics of the station, the shuttle, and the approaching fleets. Arik studied the displays, formulating a strategy. We'll use the ship's systems. The corridors themselves can be reconfigured to delay intruders. We can trigger energy fields to block access. It won't harm them permanently, but it will buy us time. Selene's hands shook slightly as she manipulated the holographic controls. It's incredible. The ship responds to thought, to intent. It can anticipate our actions and enhance them, but it's not giving us all the answers. We still have to think for ourselves. Arik nodded. That's why we're here. The ship teaches, but it expects action. Hours passed as they prepared the defenses. Outside, the fog thickened, masking the approach of the fleets. Sensors detected small vessels slicing through the mist, their movements deliberate. Arik monitored them closely, coordinating with Selene to activate barriers and redirect corridors. The vessel's hum intensified, almost like it was breathing, its energy flowing into the corridors, the barriers, and even into the humans themselves, enhancing their reflexes and focus. Finally, the first intruders arrived at the station. Their ships glowed faintly in the fog, sensors picking up signatures of weapons and engines. Arik took a deep breath. Here we go. The alien figure projected a wave of energy through the corridors, redirecting them in real time. The intruders found themselves trapped in loops, walls shifting around them as if the ship itself were a labyrinth. Energy pulses blocked their sensors, confusing them further. Selene whispered in awe, "It's alive! It's defending itself!" Arik gritted his teeth. "No, Selene. It's defending knowledge, and we're part of it now." The first wave of intruders tried to break through the barriers, but the vessel's energy pushed back. The corridors themselves moved, reshaping pathways and trapping ships in endless loops. Auric and Selene navigated the projections, guiding the ship's defenses with precision, their minds almost synchronizing with the alien figure. One intruder vessel managed to slip through, but the ship anticipated the breach. Energy fields surged, forcing the vessel to retreat. Auric felt a thrill of triumph, tempered by the knowledge that more ships would come. Selene's voice was steady now, filled with resolve. "We can do this. We understand how it thinks. We can defend it." The alien figure observed them silently, its eyes glowing with approval. "You learn quickly. You adapt. You understand the weight of knowledge. This is what makes your species worthy. Continue." Hours stretched into what felt like days. The intruders kept coming, testing the vessel, probing for weaknesses. Each time, Auric and Selene adapted, learning to anticipate the attacker's moves with the ship's guidance. The fog-shrouded planet outside became a battleground of energy and light, though from within the vessel they could only sense the tension, not the destruction. Finally, the intruders withdrew, recognizing that the vessel was not simply a relic. They faced a force that could outthink them at every turn. Auric exhaled deeply, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle over him. Selene leaned against a console, equally drained but glowing with exhilaration. The alien figure's projection shifted closer to them, its eyes calm now. "You have survived the first test. You have proven your worth. Knowledge is not given lightly. You understand now that it must be protected, nurtured, and used wisely." Selene looked at Auric, her voice soft but determined. "We did it, together, and we learned so much, more than I ever imagined." Auric nodded, glancing around at the glowing corridors and the vast chambers filled with knowledge. "This is only the beginning. The universe is bigger than we thought. And now we've been given a chance to be part of it, to grow, to learn, and to protect." The alien figure extended a hand toward them, and a new projection appeared. Images of civilizations that had faced extinction and survived not through power alone, but through wisdom, cooperation, and understanding. The lesson was clear. Knowledge alone was not enough. Humanity must prove it could wield it responsibly. Selene's eyes filled with tears, though she smiled. "We can do this. We have to. For the ship, for ourselves, for the future." Auric placed a hand on her shoulder. "And we will. Step by step. One decision at a time. We'll learn, we'll adapt, and we'll protect this knowledge. Humanity will rise to the challenge." The vessel's hum softened, almost like a sigh of relief, and the lights pulsed gently. A silent acknowledgement of their resolve. Outside, the fog remained thick, hiding the ancient ship from the rest of the universe, but within its walls, a bond had been formed. Auric and Selene had proven themselves to the ship, and the ship had begun to teach them the true meaning of wisdom, responsibility, and patience. The alien figure slowly withdrew into the stasis pod once more, its eyes closing. But the lessons it imparted remained vivid in the minds of the two humans. They understood now that this was only the first step of a journey far greater than any exploration, any discovery they had ever known. And as they prepared for what lay ahead, the ship's lights blinked once more, steady and deliberate. A beacon of hope, a guardian of knowledge, and a silent promise that humanity's story among the stars was only beginning. The fog outside the planet remained dense, hiding the ancient vessel from any distant eyes. Inside, the hum of the ship was calm now, almost meditative, as if it had accepted Auric Hale and Selene Mur as its students. But the quiet did not last long. Sensors on the vessel flickered with faint, distant signals. Other ships, likely human, moving into the system with intentions unknown. Auric leaned over the console, his jaw tight. "They're back. Smaller scouting vessels this time. They've probably sent word to the larger fleets. If they know about this ship, we're about to have more than a skirmish on our hands. Selene studied the holographic projections of the approaching ships. They don't understand what they're looking at. They see a vessel. We see a library of civilizations. They want control. We need a strategy that doesn't just defend the ship, but preserves its knowledge intact. The alien figure in the stasis pod stirred again, its eyes opening slowly. A soft glow emanated from the pod as the figure projected its presence into the chamber. The test continues, it conveyed. Knowledge is fragile. Power is corruptible. You must decide what is worth preserving and how to protect it. Your choices will define your species. Auric exhaled, feeling the pressure of responsibility. We can't just hide it. They'll keep coming. We need a solution that ensures the ship and the knowledge is safe, regardless of who attacks next. Selene nodded, her fingers flying over the holographic controls. We can use the ship's systems to create protective zones, redirect corridors, simulate dangers, and mislead intruders. The vessel responds to intent. If we work with it, we can control access without destroying anyone. The hum of the ship intensified, and the walls of the chambers shifted subtly, aligning with their strategy. Auric felt a strange connection, a sense that the ship could sense his thoughts, his intentions, and adapt to them instantly. It was as though they were thinking as one. Outside, the first of the scouting vessels entered the fog. The humans aboard them expected to see a derelict, perhaps claim it for profit. Instead, they encountered shifting corridors, walls that seemed to move, and energy fields that blocked their approach. Panic rippled through the intruders as they realized this was no ordinary ship. Selene's voice was calm but focused. Redirect this corridor, then open the secondary path to loop them back. They won't know which way is forward. Auric followed her instructions, coordinating with the ship's energy fields. If we keep them busy long enough, we can contact command. They'll realize this is a discovery that must be protected, not exploited. The intruders tried to push through, firing weapons that barely affected the energy shields. The ship responded instantly, creating temporary barriers and rerouting corridors so that each attempt to advance resulted in confusion. The holographic projections displayed the intruders' movements, and Auric and Selene anticipated their next steps almost instinctively. After hours of careful maneuvering, the intruders withdrew, realizing the vessel was far more advanced than they had imagined. Their retreating ships vanished into the fog, leaving the vessel and its guardians in peace for now. Selene sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it. We protected it, at least for the moment. Auric nodded, but his mind was already racing. This is only temporary. Eventually someone else will come. We need a permanent solution, one that ensures the knowledge can be preserved safely without constant danger. The alien figure's projection shifted, its eyes glowing with a steady light. You understand now. Knowledge must be guarded, but it must also be shared wisely. Too much too soon, and it corrupts. Too little, and it dies. Selene looked at the figure. Then how do we proceed? How do we protect it while also sharing it responsibly? The figure's presence grew more luminous. Decide what your species is ready for. Protect the vessel. Share the knowledge in steps. Demonstrate wisdom, restraint, and cooperation. Then the legacy will endure. Auric clenched his fists, determination firming his resolve. We can do that. Humanity has flaws, but we also have ingenuity, curiosity, and the ability to learn from mistakes. We just need to show we can rise above greed and fear. Selene smiled faintly. Then let's start, step by step. Carefully, we protect what we can and we share what will help the species grow. That's the responsibility we've been given. The vessel responded instantly, corridors aligning, energy fields stabilizing, and new holographic displays appearing. They showed paths for future exploration, safe communication networks, and strategic ways to preserve knowledge without exposing it to exploitation. Outside, the fog began to swirl as if sensing the vessel's calm yet deliberate preparation. The intruders would return, but the ship's systems, now in sync with Auric and Selene, created a nearly impenetrable defense. Hours turned into days as they continued to learn from the vessel, cataloging information, mapping star systems, and preparing contingency plans. Selene discovered archives detailing civilizations that had faced extinction and survived not through war, but through cooperation, wisdom, and careful stewardship of knowledge. Auric focused on defense strategies, using the vessel's adaptive corridors and energy fields to ensure that any future intruders would be delayed or deterred without destruction. One evening, as the fog swirled in ethereal patterns outside the viewports, the alien figure projected a new message. The choice is now yours. Will you protect knowledge for the right reasons? Will you share it to elevate your species? Or will you hoard it, risking corruption and collapse? Selene's voice was steady. We will share it wisely. Humanity must learn, but we must also respect the limits of understanding. Knowledge is only valuable if it is used to build, not destroy. Auric projected his agreement mentally. We accept the responsibility. We will protect the vessel, and we will guide humanity toward growth. We will honor the legacy of civilizations that came before us. The vessel's lights pulsed in approval. Its hum became rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Then you are worthy. The knowledge will endure. Your species will endure. If it remembers wisdom as well as power. The alien figure withdrew into the stasis pod once more, leaving Auric and Selene with a profound sense of purpose. The chambers remained alive with holographic projections and archives, but now they were ready to begin the careful task of cataloging and sharing knowledge responsibly. Communication with their outpost was restored, and a secure transmission reached Federation Command. Auric and Selene presented the discovery, careful to protect the vessel's exact location and sensitive information. The message emphasized cooperation, research, and the importance of safeguarding the knowledge rather than exploiting it. Within hours, a response arrived, recognition of the vessel's significance, and a mandate to secure it for scientific study under strict protocols. Humanity's curiosity was acknowledged, but greed would not dictate this discovery. Auric felt a surge of relief. Steps had been taken to ensure the ship and its wisdom would remain protected. Days passed, and the first human research teams arrived, carefully briefed and guided by Auric and Selene. The alien vessel continued to respond to their presence, guiding them to relevant chambers and providing insights into civilizations, technology, and universal principles. Humanity's first steps into interstellar stewardship had begun. Auric stood on a viewing platform, gazing at the fog-shrouded planet below. The vessel floated silently, a monument to patience, intelligence, and the endurance of knowledge. Selene joined him, her eyes reflecting the glow of the ship's lights. "We've come far," she said softly, "but this is just the beginning. We have to make sure humanity is ready for what comes next." Auric nodded. "It's a heavy responsibility, but it's also a privilege. Not many species get this chance. We can rise to the challenge if we work together." The vessel's lights pulsed gently, almost as if acknowledging their determination. It had chosen humanity as its guardians, and in doing so, had given them not just knowledge, but the opportunity to shape their own destiny among the stars. Months passed, and the outpost became a hub of learning. Scientists, engineers, and explorers came and went, all guided by the vessel's wisdom. humanity began to understand principles of energy, travel, and cooperation on a scale never imagined. Conflicts were resolved with knowledge instead of violence, and new technologies emerged to improve life across human colonies. Arik and Selene continued to study the vessel daily. They had grown, not just in knowledge, but in perspective. They understood the weight of decisions, the importance of restraint, and the value of cooperation over conquest. Humanity had been given a chance to rise, and they were determined not to fail. One evening, as the fog swirled below, the vessel emitted a soft, steady light. It moved slowly, lifting from the planet's orbit, its engines, or whatever propelled it, silent but powerful. Arik and Selene watched as it ascended into the stars, a beacon of hope and a symbol of what humanity could achieve when wisdom guided action. Selene whispered, "It's leaving." Arik nodded. "It's trusting us now. We've proven we can protect knowledge, and it knows we'll guide humanity responsibly. This is the start of something far bigger than us." The vessel's lights blinked once more before fading into the distance, leaving humanity with its legacy. Arik and Selene turned toward the outpost, ready to continue the work they had begun. They had faced tests, proven their worth, and now held the future of humanity's wisdom in their hands. And as they looked out at the stars, they understood a profound truth. Humanity was no longer merely observers of the universe. They were participants, guardians of knowledge, and architects of a future that could shine as brightly as the ancient vessel itself. The fog remained, thick and mysterious, but the light of understanding now pierced it. Humanity had risen to the challenge, and the stars awaited their next step.